It's time for school. Boosting enrollment in Nigeria gives children better access to quality education.
Facing an uncertain future, conservation efforts in Kenya could leave a minority group evicted from their ancestral lands.
Art therapy in Mali. After years of turmoil, harnessing the beauty of art helps promote a culture of peace. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring stories near and far. I'm Chamberlain Saw at Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm joined by Vincent McCurry at Voice of America in Washington.
Well, thanks a lot, Chamberlain. I'm Vincent McCurry at our global headquarters in Washington, D.C. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with a look at a national campaign to boost enrollment in Nigeria's schools. Chamberlain Uso in Lagos brings you that story.
That's right. The number of children attending school in Nigeria has improved tremendously since 2015. And because of that, the number of out-of-school children has reduced from 10.5 to 8.6 million. The National Enrollment Campaign is seeing many children in several states getting access to quality education, which could serve as their meal tickets in the future.
In parts of northern Nigeria, it's common to see children roaming the streets in search of benevolent gestures from members of the society to survive. These children make up the majority of the total number of out-of-school children in the country, which stands at 8.6 million. Although a staggering figure, it represents an appreciable reduction from 10.5 million in 2015, according to UNICEF statistics. This means more children are getting off the streets and into the classrooms, and it's no coincidence, rather a result of deliberate policies targeted at ensuring more school-age children are enrolled, particularly in the northern region, where violent conflict has deprived many of them access to education. In Bauchi State, children between the ages of 3 and 6 are being enrolled into school following the launch of the National Enrollment Campaign. Although this is sure to yield a further increase in the number of children in school in the state and the country as a whole, the representative of the Minister of Education believes there can be better synergy between the federal and state governments.
With the enrollment drive and with the school feeding program, the out-of-school children in Nigeria has dropped from 10.5 million to 8.6 million as at last year. One of the cardinal programs of the ministerial strategic plan is creating access for our children. And so many children are now going to school, and we give kudos to the government.
The national campaign is a federal government strategy for mass enrollment to provide access to quality education to Nigerian children. Some state governments have declared their unwavering support.
I want to reiterate the commitment of the state government in supporting 2017 and 2018 enrollment drive campaign in the state, and to further support it at the local government and school/community levels. This will no doubt ensure that no child in the state is left out of school or miss his or her right to education.
With children making up a large percentage of Nigeria's population and in turn displaced persons in northern Nigeria as well as other parts of the country, stakeholders believe the bulk of the work rests not only on enrollment but also on sustainable systems and proper monitoring.
Apart from getting children to school, we need to make sure we have, like said before, enough spaces to keep these children in classes, enough teachers, instructional materials, and supervision to ensure that they are progressing in the right direction.
The enrollment campaign is already running in other states in the region, with special attention to improving the level of education for girls who make up a large fraction of out-of-school children.
And here to talk about ensuring quality education for Nigerian children, especially the girl child, is Taya Avaladinam, Girls Education Specialist at UNICEF Nigeria. welcome to the program. Let me start by asking you, over the years, there's been several efforts on both the national and state level to address the problem of out-of-school children, albeit with little gains in terms of numbers. What would you say is the reason for this improvement in enrollment of school-age children in recent years?
Yes, hello. This is a very important question. So the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria is high, but it's wonderful to see the improvements. And I think it's thanks to multiple efforts by the government and all the development partners. One big effort definitely is enrollment drive campaigns that have been taking place all over the country in many states for many years, really mobilizing parents, mobilizing communities, and also traditional leaders, religious leaders, and other leaders have been part of these campaigns to attract children to school. And also targeting girl child and girls especially. And there are, of course, other efforts as well. There are some projects that have, for example, provided cash transfers to children. So children who are very poor have been given funds and financial support to be able to afford to come to school. Quality has improved in the school, so there are many efforts that we as UNICEF also are supporting in the country to improve the quality of education.
Yeah, now speaking about quality, you say it's improved. Certainly there will be pressure on existing infrastructure because more people are going to school. Doesn't this have any bearing whatsoever on the quality?
Yes, naturally, when more children are enrolling, there is pressure and the quality needs to keep up with it. So the infrastructure needs to be strengthened. And I know there are lots of efforts for that in many states, that schools and classrooms are being renovated, built, more classrooms and schools are being built, and also the teacher education side, so the software side, not only the hardware, the supplies and the classrooms, but also there are lots of efforts to strengthen the quality education.
Still speaking on the same thing, but this time about Nigeria's population growth. That also means that more children approaching school age will definitely go to school. I know you also spoke about capacity and quality increasing, but now, can we now say that the quality of teachers who have been trained, do they have or can they demonstrate that capacity to educate every Nigerian child as a way of tackling poverty?
Education plays a very important role in poverty reduction. So definitely education is one component to help children to have the skills and the employability later on in their lives to do better. So it's very important. And I think for these efforts, what's important is the synergy that actors, government, development partners, donors work together to really meet the goals and to share the resources and share the workload. For example, teacher training, as you mentioned, a lot is happening. There are many efforts to improve the quality of teacher training, but it's never finished. It's a continued effort. Now I know there's an effort to improve the teacher training curriculum, so the contents of what teachers are learning. And we are also revising, as UNICEF, we are supporting the revision of head teacher training materials and curriculum. So all these efforts are continuous, but altogether we will do better and we manage.
All right, Taya Valadinam, Girls Education Specialist at UNICEF Nigeria. Thank you for talking to us today on Africa 54, and we wish you all the best.